what's going on, guys? It is Rinne-Hatake here, back with another video. And today I got What If Goku Was the Grim Reaper Part 2. You guys destroyed the light goal and everything, and you guys really like this story, so I decided to make Part 2. And I really do apologize for the late uploads. I've been really busy and working on the movie of What If Goku had Vegeta's powers, was born with Vegeta's powers. But without further ado, I will be setting a like goal of 10 likes on this video, and now we can actually finally start this what if scenario. So I left off on this what if on the fact that none of the Z fighters actually knew about Frieza or needed the Dragon Balls, but after Vegeta finally healed up in the hospital, he got out and Goku was the first to interrogate him. Goku questioned Vegeta if he knew anything important or useful that they can actually use, as Vegeta didn't want to, talk at first, but Goku, with his sinister smile, he gave Vegeta a sinister smile, making what is now known as the Dark Bomb. And Holy Saiyan was the one who commented this, so thank you for this, new name for this move. As Goku summons the Dark Bomb, he summons multiple with him as well, as Vegeta gets a little frightened by this, but decides to finally crack and start speaking. As Vegeta explains, "I was here on a mission, Kakarot. The purpose of me being here was to take the Dragon Balls or the Wish Orbs, and wish for immortality so I can defeat the tyrant that has ruled over our Saiyan kind, and has killed our brethren and our ancestors." As Goku looks at Vegeta with a bit of a weird look, as Vegeta tells him, "Kakarot, that tyrant monster, he will do anything to get what he wants. He'll destroy planets, murder, he'll do absolutely anything, which is why I need this immortality." As Goku looks at him saying, alright. So, this Frieza character, I assume you work under him? As Vegeta looks down, angered, as he clenches his fist, saying, "I have to work under that tyrant monster. I wanna start a rebellion. I would have started a rebellion if I had the strength, but I never did, which is why I need the immortality. Now, Kakarot, make your decision. Will you help me defeat this monster?" As Goku looks at him, as he tilts his head a little bit, tilts his head to the right, as he looks at Vegeta saying, "Well, Vegeta, I guess I could help you out, but I won't be joining your little squad, since your squad is already over. I won't be joining you, but I will say, I'll help you out with this little task you want, but once that's over, you have to leave planet Earth." As Goku walks away and walks out of the hospital, and Vegeta took a few moments to take it in, and he left discharged from the hospital. As Goku left and went to Capsule Corp, asking Bulma if she could create a machine or anything that could fly to take them to Namek, as Bulma told Goku that it would take at least 4,000 years if they took the best Capsule Corp ship to wherever they're going. Before this actually happened, Goku did ask Kami if there was any other place with Dragon Balls besides Earth, so that's where Goku got some information before he went to Capsule Corp. And Goku said, "Well, I guess I'll have to lend you my ship that I used to arrive on planet Earth." As Goku flew to a random wasteland area and took his old space pod, and took it to Bulma. As Kami also telepathically talks to Goku, saying, "Well, Goku, I do have my ship here. I do still have my ship here. You can go collect it if you wish." As Goku nods his head as he flies off and searches for Kami's ship and brings it back to Bulma, as Bulma now has Saiyan technology and Namekian technology, as she studies both of the aspects of the ship and all their interior designs and everything. As Bulma continues doing this, it would take at least 4 months to complete this. As in those 4 months, Goku decided to keep training, and he decided to train with Vegeta to test him out on his own. As they continue their little training session, Gohan and Piccolo would tend to join in too, as the Z Fighters would actually continue training non-stop due to the fact that they're still a bit wary of Vegeta, as Vegeta could backstab them, and it would turn out bad for Earth, as everyone is keeping a close eye on Vegeta. But Goku fighting Vegeta, Goku did have a lot of fun doing this, but he never truly expressed it. He's just like Vegeta in a way when he has some way of this sort of fun. Like when Vegeta has fun doing stuff, he wouldn't really express it out too much if it's like a friend group kind of thing. So I reckon that's what Goku would do as well. So we move from this as the 4 months go by rather quickly, as Bulma's finally finished the ship. As she's made the ship, it's basically like the one in canon. And Goku here is Goku decided to ask Bulma if she installed what he asked, as Bulma nods her head and gives Goku a thumbs up, saying, "Yep, I installed what you asked of me, Goku." As Goku looks at Bulma, gives her a smile, and hugs Bulma and thanks her. As Goku, before taking anyone else, he goes to Chi-Chi's. He goes to Mount Paotsu, and checks on Chi-Chi, and asks if Gohan could come along, as Gohan has been working on his studies and training at the same time, as Chi-Chi absolutely refuses. But Goku, he does this incredible OP speech that convinces Chi-Chi. That makes her go pretty red, as Goku, gives Chi-Chi a little smooch, and takes Gohan and leaves, as Chi-Chi is left dumbstruck at the revelation of what just happened. But we skip past that whole area as we move towards the fact that they're going on the spaceship and, gonna fly off into space, as Gohan decided to take notes while they're out at space, and decides to study as well. As during this, Goku turned on the gravity to times 20 actually, as everyone felt the energy, felt the gravity change, as all the human Z Fighters, Piccolo, Gohan, they're all on the ground, as Piccolo was just on his knee, as Gohan was on all fours, as all the human Z Fighters were flattened by this strain, as Goku and Vegeta stood their ground. As Piccolo got up and realized the gravity wasn't too bad, as Piccolo clenches his fist and starts throwing a few punches just to get used to the gravity even more. As Gohan also starts doing that, as the Z Fighters, they making a little progress, as they can only move one arm, and soon enough they could try and move another arm. And during this, they managed to, during the few hours that they were training, they managed to get on their knees and start throwing a few punches. But it feels like their bones are getting really crushed, as Goku turns off the gravity machine as he finishes off his training. And he gives the human Z Fighters, some senzu beans to help them recover, as Goku decides to keep training without the gravity on, as everyone else decides to move out, as Gohan goes and enters his side of the ship. I'm gonna say Bulma made the ship a little bigger to fit all these people, as this ship actually has sections of areas, sections of rooms, so that the human Z Fighters would have one bunk bed and one single bed area, as Gohan's room would just be one single bed area. As Piccolo, he also got himself a room if he wanted it, and Vegeta could share a room with Piccolo. As Goku got himself the piloting area, so he can sleep there. So Goku doesn't really have a bed, but still, Goku tells everyone to close their doors, as they do, as these metal shutters come down and close the doors, as Goku turns on the gravity to times 20, as Goku does like the training he did in Dragon Ball Super for those massive suits with Whis, and he was doing like handstand push-ups with his thumb. Yeah, that's basically what he's doing here, but without the suit, as Goku makes that all the way to 10,000 and continues training on the ship, growing exponentially stronger, and then he finishes up training and lets the ship fly autopilot as he goes to bed. And this cycle continues as everyone else grows stronger and stronger, and of course the gravity grows more intense by the second. Really, so Goku continues his training, and he does train very, very hard. As Goku, he's practicing all his martial arts that he's learned, and making his moves twice as strong, and Goku realizes he can use that power that he used, that dark bomb, and when he gathers his energy, Goku clenches both of his fists, and he's in a stance where he's gathering energy, as this purple, or like dark pinkish reddish aura begins radiating off of Goku, as it's such an ominous aura that everyone in the ship backs away from Goku for a second, as Goku's hair spikes up a little, as he's not turning into Super Saiyan or anything, as Goku just gets this dark aura, as Goku's ki is basically just like Goku Black's ki when he accesses that ki covering thing. As Goku is doing that, well, if I don't forget, I'll add what I'm talking about, but still, we move from this as Goku just flexes his ki, as his ki is rather intense and has such a godly presence around it. Well, not like pure godly, I mean evil presence. Evil. His presence is so ominous that no one can really stand it, as Goku just feels impressed with his power, as Goku just makes himself a ki blade and decides to start practicing with that, since he's learned this ability for a while, and yet he still hasn't used it to its like greatest ability. So he decided to just keep practicing with it. As during this time, when they finally all finish their training and head to bed, as Goku heads to bed and closes his eyes, his body is radiating again with that same ominous presence, as Goku was having a dream or a vision in the past, as Goku sees the previous Grim Reaper standing before him. And I'll name this Grim Reaper, I'm just gonna call him Phantom, if that's okay. So, Phantom looks straight at Goku saying, son Goku, or should I say Kakarot, as Goku looks straight at this weird looking guy with that, with a scythe on him, as Goku looks at him saying, who are you? As Goku gets into a fighting stance, Phantom looks at Goku again saying, well, that's no way to treat the person who gave you their powers now, is it? As Goku looks at him saying, my powers. As the Phantom basically looks at him saying, well, you don't even know yet? Well, let me explain. I am the Grim Reaper, created by Zalama. And the history of, my power being passed down, I never passed it down. And Zalama always wanted me to, pass my power down so it can be a generational thing. But I sensed the people I sensed the power and the presence of the people who I was originally gonna give it to, but their bodies couldn't handle this sort of power. So I decided to look for a Saiyan that was worthy. And I found a Saiyan. His name is Broly, but his power was already incredible, and his mental state was in shambles. So if I lend him or give him my power, he will just go berserk and end up destroying the whole universe. As for you, Kakarot, your mental state, your strength, and everything was perfect. it was in balance, and I can use that to the greatest of my abilities. As Goku looks at him saying, "So you pass down your powers to me." As the Grim Reaper looks at him saying, "Well, yes." And the intention of the Grim Reaper was to keep balance in the universe and not cause any harm and evil. But Goku looks at him saying, "Then why? Why do I have the urge to destroy and kill?" As, well, the Phantom looks at him saying, "Well, the reason being is I don't truly know. 'Cause, all I remember was a llama creating me. But when I was created, I saw another standing before me. Another Grim Reaper that was sent to a different universe. And that was Universe 6. As Goku questions him, saying, "Universe 6? What are you talking about? I don't know any Universe 6 or anything. So what are you getting at?" As the Grim Reaper tells him, "Well, you'll understand soon enough. That Grim Reaper was all malice and pure evil. Well, my power, when I gave it to you, the transfusion, I guess, might have got the power a bit tainted, as he might have interfered and tainted my power. And it could also be due to genetics and how Saiyans can be evil, so that might be due to that, or that other Reaper could have interfered with the process of me giving you the power, and that's why you have the urge of destruction. But hey, I'll be here to guide you whenever you need me. Just call upon me whenever you wish, and I'll teach you how to use the powers that I have bestowed upon you to the best of my abilities." As Goku's vision finally begins to end, as Goku widens his eyes, well, he basically opens his eyes, and sits up as he looks around, looking for the man he was looking at before. As Goku basically grabs puts his left hand on his head as he begins shaking his head, remembering all the things that Phantom said to him. As Goku, well, starts breathing a little heavily, saying, "So, these powers I have are from the Grim Reaper." As Goku, gets up, and everyone was still sleeping, as Goku decides to train to get this off his mind. As he begins training, and he begins training harder and harder until everyone else is finally awake. As Piccolo doesn't really need sleep, but resting his eyes would do him some good. As Piccolo, started training with Goku as well, as most of the Z fighters finally got up and decided to train with Goku. As Goku's finally finished with his training, he decides to rest and stuff. So all this took place in like a whole week. It took them a week to arrive at Namek. So on the final day, when they're nearing Namek, well, Goku can really just sense the evil malice of Frieza already. Because Frieza is radiating some malice, but not too much. But Goku can sense evil energy or evil presences because, well, that's just an ability that Goku has to sense evil presence, as Goku, well, tells everyone that Frieza might be on this planet already, so they gotta be very wary. As everyone else, gets off the ship, as Goku puts the ship in a capsule and hands it over to the person he trusts the most. Well, his best friend, really. He gave it to his best friend, Krillin, to take care of. As they all split, they stayed together and decided to search for the Dragon Balls. And they did bring the Dragon Radar, thanks to Krillin, reminding everyone. As Krillin starts searching with the rest of them, they actually ran into, not Frieza just yet, but they ran into Zarbon and Dodoria on the village that they arrived to. As Zarbon and Dodoria dash towards Goku, as Vegeta, gets in the way and basically uses his arm to headlock both of them and do some OP anime flip and throws them at throws him into buildings. As Vegeta starts throwing ki blasts at them, as Zaba and Doya decides to dodge, as Vegeta takes to the skies and follows after them, as Zaba and Doya begin to team up as they transform into their strongest or true forms, as they began fighting Vegeta, as Vegeta is a whole lot stronger due to the gravity training. As they start doing this, well, Goku just watches and looks for any signs of survivors, but there are no signs, as they do see a Dragon Ball rolling on the ground, as Gohan takes a look and looks at the Dragon Ball to see how big it is, and it's rather quite large for the Dragon Ball, since the one they have on Earth is a lot smaller, but still they took the Dragon Ball and fly off, as Goku tells Vegeta, "Hey Vegeta, I'll leave things off with you," as Goku flies off with the rest, as Vegeta smirks a little, saying, "Well, I can teach you two a lesson," as Vegeta began taking this more seriously, as Zaba and Doya get wiped out immediately. They did get a few good hits on Vegeta, but in the end, those hits will fuel his power and anger even more once he gets a Zenkai from healing. As Vegeta, he beats down on those two and leaves. As they travel around a little more to find more Dragon Balls, but they've only found 4 of them, while Frieza has 2. Actually, Frieza has 3 this time, since Vegeta isn't against them. But still, no, they all have 3 Dragon Balls each. Goku's team has 3 Dragon Balls, and Frieza has 3 as well. As Goku, he manages to find the last Dragon Ball, and it was in this area. Looks like a barren area where there was these tall rock formations, with one of them having a little house on top, and there was already a Namekian waiting for him, as Goku stops in his tracks and looks at Nail, saying, "What do you want?" As Nail says that to Goku, Goku replies saying, "I'm here for the Dragon Ball. Now please move aside, or else you're gonna get hurt." As Nail looks at him saying, "What are your intentions with the Dragon Ball? And what do you intend to wish for? If you tell me that, and your true intentions with you being honest with him, then I'll consider allowing you to enter." As Goku looks at him saying, "Well, I'm trying to collect the Dragon Balls to prevent this evil tyrant of wishing for anything rash." As Nail is sensing that Goku's not lying, so he does let him in. As the elder Namekian Guru, he's basically just talking to Goku, and he was going to unlock his potential, but when Guru touches Goku's head, he feels the evil aura and presence that he possesses. As Elder Guru takes his hand off Goku's head immediately, saying, "Here, take the Dragon Balls, and you may go now. Please, go." As the elder Namekian sounds rather frightened, as Nail asks him, "Are you alright, Elder Guru?" As Goku just leaves with the Dragon Ball and flies off. As Guru tells Nail, "That man who took the Dragon Balls, he is the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper has finally had a successor, and that has to be him. That evil aura and presence that he releases, that's definitely the Grim Reaper." As Goku flies off back to his team, as when he does, he sees that they're already fighting against Frieza, as Vegeta is handling Frieza on his own with Piccolo, but they're not getting anywhere. As Gohan also joins in, but Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin are just handling the Frieza fodder soldiers, as they're trying to help out the village while they're trying to keep Frieza away from the Dragon Balls. As they all began fighting harder and harder, but Frieza, he's getting a little pushed back because of the teamwork and them outnumbering him, but he decided to finally take this a little more seriously, so he transformed into a second form. And this caught, people off guard as Vegeta was punched in the face and then whipped by Frieza's tail into the ocean waters. As Gohan comes up next and tries to use a Masenko as Frieza slaps that away. And before Gohan could actually know what's happening, Frieza almost skewers Gohan with his horns, but Gohan, well, he wasn't saved by himself, but by Goku. As Goku, well, basically pushes Gohan out the way, and with one hand catches the horn that Frieza was going to stab him with, and basically holds Frieza in place. As Goku, well, he grabs Frieza's horn as the horn of Frieza began to crack as Frieza widened his eyes, saying, "What?" As Frieza, his horn was snapped as Goku breaks off his horn, and with an immediate reaction, Goku stabs the horn straight in Frieza's chest as he sends it straight through Frieza's chest as Frieza begins coughing out a little blood. As Frieza looks at him saying, "You Saiyan scoundrel," as Frieza transforms not into his third but into his final form, as Frieza takes out his horn, as he begins to berate Goku with attacks, as Goku, well, his evil presence has began to grow even further, as his power is already very, very high, and I can't remember what I've placed him at, but as Goku did have that premonition, some of his limits of using the Grim Reaper ability were awakened, so now his power exceeds what it was before, and is now able to, be able to keep up with Frieza with his power at this rate. So right now, Goku is handling Frieza rather well. As Goku continues his assault on Frieza, Frieza is getting a little berated with his attacks, and he didn't have time to call the Ginyu Force, so there's no backup coming to him as Goku continues his attacks. But when Goku hesitated with one attack, this is when Frieza began to strike, as Frieza punched Goku in the face and sent a few blasts at him. And Goku, while he was distracted with those attacks, Frieza decides to point at one thing he would truly care about, and that it was Goku's son. And if that's not the case, then he'd fire it at that bald guy, helping out the Namekian village. As Frieza sends a death beam straight towards Gohan, and with Gohan frozen in fear, he was hit head on, as Gohan was hit straight in the chest, as Gohan's eyes began to fade into Gohan began to fade into unconsciousness, as Goku saw Gohan get shot or get pierced with a beam, as Goku's eyes, as you can see in the thumbnail, his pupils gone red, as Goku, he looks at Frieza as his rage is emanating, and it's clearly obvious that his power is rising, as that ominous aura from before was already rather large due to him using it a lot, but now it's exponentially exploded to even greater heights, as now Goku, his hair begins to flicker and go upwards, as Goku, his muscles begin to enlarge, as Goku, he yells in anger as he looks at Frieza one last time, saying, "Frieza, you shall pay." As lightning began to strike, as the waves of the ocean began roaring, as the ground began to tremble in the might of Goku, as Goku, fully transforms, as his hair was usually a golden aura, is now the one you see in the thumbnail, the color of pinkish, a light pinkish color, and it's like it resembles the color of Rosé or Super Saiyan Rosé. It resembles that kind of color, as Goku's aura is definitely like that aura as well of the Rosé, as Goku fully transforms as a divine power. Well, he already has divine power, so I'd say it would be Rosé as Goku. His power would be a lot larger, and other planets could sense this rather ominous presence, as Whis, who is monitoring the universe, can feel that the presence of the unknown god was able to be sensed. As Shin and Kibito from the Kai's world can sense this power as well as they watch on, seeing Goku in that form, as Goku makes the Keyblade and stabs it into his hand and rips out a scythe as Goku slashes in the air, as Frieza is terrified and barely dodges, as when he does, Goku rips a hole, rips the dimension or some sorts. He ripped out, he cut through the dimensions, bro. He cut the dimension as smoke began to come out of it, as other versions of him began to come out, and it was just an illusion kind of thing, as they were all attacking Frieza. As Goku looks at Frieza saying, "You shall perish." As in that sentence, Goku is gone. His hand moved so fast, he was already on the other side, and Frieza's head dropped to the ground. As Frieza was beheaded, as Frieza's body has gone limp, and he falls. As Goku gives a maniacal grin and began laughing maniacally, saying, "It's done. I will kill you all." As he began laughing even more maniacally. But before this could go on any further, well, someone decided to join them, as Whis decided to take action. Well, even though he can't truly take action, he decided to teleport to the Kai's world and ask them for some assistance. As the Kai, Shin, and Whis arrived on the planet, as they see Goku in that state, as well. Whis, he can't really attack Goku, so he just decides to restrain Goku, as Shin and Kibito also restrain Goku, as Goku looks at them, saying, "Do you want to die too?" As Goku, he flexes his ki and starts to try and move, but it's no use with all three of them restraining him. Well, Whis could do it himself, but he can't truly do a lot since, there's angel restrictions. But Goku was put into a seal that would, which would be a sword that Whis found, and Goku would be sealed in that sword. Yes, Goku would be sealed in that sword, and Whis would take it to Beerus's planet. And before he does, he looks at all the other mortals and tells them, "Well, if you want to see this man again, well, you can try contacting these two to arrange something. But for now, you won't see him," as Goku is taken with Whis. And Goku, well, he was placed inside of a sword, as Whis takes him to Beerus's planet, as Beerus is still sleeping soundly, as Whis, feels the evil presence in the sword, as Goku still tries to break free, as Whis understands that even sealing him in this sword won't last forever, since it will only last at least a month or so, as Whis stabs the sword into the tree, or stabs it into a rock, and leaves it there, as Whis tends to other duties. As for now, Son Goku will be taken away from the equation, as Piccolo, Krillin, and everyone else, Vegeta, are left to see that Goku has now been taken from them, and that they won't get Goku back until they do something with this arrangement that Whis told them to do. As this is where I'll be leaving off the story for now, so hopefully you guys enjoyed, but without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next what if scenario, so peace.